It is the original teddy bear type, hailing back all the way from the days of Medarot 1. It is BER0M Betty Bear, with the kit of triple break, float legs, and the leg ability of Mascot, which debuffs success and power when attacked by an enemy. Now, as a model that's available in the permanent banner, Betty Bear is not only iconic, but it's also very easy to collect this model from the Friend Point Gacha, meaning anyone playing longer than a week probably would have seen at least one or two parts of this guy already, if not already completed the set. However, contrary to the rather cuddly appearance, this monster actually is a little meaner than what you'd expect, especially if the enemy is packing heavy parts of 2 or more. Break on all 3 parts is a gravity attribute skill with a success bonus tied to Metaforce charge, but even more so than that is known for its iconic use in dealing with heavy punish. That means if the foe is using 2 or more heavy parts, they are most certainly going to be feeling the pain with extra punish damage. Whereas if they are using only 1 or none, Break is only going to be dealing relatively minimal if not normal damage when attacking. And at that point, the only other thing you can bank on is that the boost of success, which means you're less likely to miss or get grazed or even land crits. Now, with that being said, that does mean that Betty Bear will be moderately solid and versatile, not necessarily as a pure set in this case, given that he has it on all 3 parts, but as mixed parts is definitely where he shines. In the armor department, he is definitely not the greatest either, as that cuddly appearance does actually kind of work against him to a point. His head only just packing 2850 HP, arms about 2900 each, and his legs at 3150. This cuddly teddy bear is pretty much just that. He's cuddly and he's soft, which means he's going to be very easy to pick off and take down once he's within your range. His leg stats are honestly kind of nominal too, and even for float legs, where they tend to have a lower base cutoff and culling point for what's good and what's not, his legs are definitely not the greatest, unfortunately, either. A mobility of 567 might be par for the course when it comes to float legs, but a heavy limit of 0 really does kind of hurt any possible viability that they have. Plus, having a melee resist of 518 means that that one bot coming in to deck him in the face is definitely going to make sure he feels the pain. But with a shoot resist of 1113, he can definitely hold his own much better from people taking pot shots from afar. And an evade of 788 is not great. I'd say it's honestly more decent in this point, but it's also worth noting that these are the base stats before any other modifiers. Plus, it's also worth noting that with float legs, they have an A rank on every terrain except Cyber, which everybody's an S. So these are only the base stats, and realistically, you'd want to factor in maybe another 10% to all the stats to really see where he would lie. But in many cases, even that bonus might not really be enough to save him. The Mascot ability actually is kind of a nice touch though, as this does mean that every time he is pummeled, the enemy will be attacking progressively weaker and even less likely to land hits because of the debuff he applies to their success and power. All this being said, as a pure set score, I still do have to rate Betty Bear a pretty solid 6.5 out of 10. Even though he is rather soft and squishy, having that particular ability of heavy punish with break on all 3 parts can actually serve as a very good useful point to him and add more viability to a somewhat unassuming model, especially given that because he is a Friend Point Gacha bot, anyone can collect him very easily, and that means it's very easy to raise his parts pretty much when you're still in early game. As mixed parts, I do have to rate him higher at a 7 out of 10. Even though together he is particularly squishy and his leg stats really aren't super great except for his shoot resist, if you were to say use an arm or his head instead for having the heavy punish coverage on your team, that might be where he might see a little more viability. Because even if he may have light armor or low power, if you pair it off with legs that keep damage reduction low, such as say tank legs or something with the fortress leg ability, that can still keep that part in the game moderately well without it being broken too quick.